Hey there, School of Tomorrow students. I'll address myself to people who consider themselves to be School of Tomorrow students, and I'm one of them. In other words, even though I'm a teacher, I also spend more of my time than in teacher mode, I'm in student mode. And that's a lifelong ratio. It varies how you define each mode, whatever. But there's not this stereotype that as a young person, your goal is to learn, 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 and then you know enough, and then you go forward from there, knowing what you need to know. Right? That used to be kind of the model. I mean, learn a craft, join a guild, be an apprentice to a master, become a master, but of something, right? Not of everything. Life is short. So, this comprehensivist thing that CJ is into, how does that extend? Does it extend only in the knowledge world, i.e., think of a library? Is a comprehensivist a bookworm, super bookworm? What about, doesn't comprehensivist mean something like knowing how to cook or operate a drone or drive a truck? I mean, these are skills too, and there's infinite skills. So obviously, whoever we are, we're going to have a gradient. We're going to have what's most accessible. Your family already runs this business. It's like a golden opportunity to just continue it, and you choose to do that. So is that an issue? No. I mean, this is it. We got to choose something, right? Okay, so comprehensivist is a theme in the background here, and skills training and comprehensivist in the sense of being well rounded. That's often been a liberal arts stated goal. Like when I went to Princeton, I was expected not just to nerd out in the library, but to do something like a team sport, but it could do solo gym, I could do running, it could be informal, but the idea was, you're not there to just pig out on desserts and beer, which is when I started to go down that path, and I got a tap on the shoulder from my resident advisor and so on. So I came out of Princeton in pretty good shape, not overeating the whole time. Something like that would be my idea. Includes that in a PhD. In other words, your diet matters, your cooking habits matter. It's a lifestyle. We're majoring in lifestyles, and I'm not saying there's one best lifestyle. I'm not trying to push my lifestyle as what y'all have to do. But I did have this lifestyle. I am having this lifestyle with a cool car that gets the job done. It's a fairly old car by today's standards. No backup mirror is one of the main missing features. I find that with the speakers shot out, it really doesn't matter because I got my Verizon cell and I got my Bluetooth speaker device, which looks like a small bat, and I hang that from my window. Actually, that's a bad idea. I mean, rearview mirror. Bad idea to hang it there because it just falls off. But what I'm doing is testing myself, my travel skills. How did these glasses get broken? Well, I'd rolled on them before I left and didn't know it. So when I pulled a case open in Depot Bay, having worn sunglasses for the drive, but not all of it, like I didn't even know leaving the house that I just have one lens. So I was like, fooled myself. Because when I opened the case at the world's shortest river, the D River in Lincoln City, I was like, how come these glasses broke themselves in the case just now? As I was driving, listening to Dr. Jang, sorry, right? He's doing cool stuff on Dante, and Dr. Jang is a feature in my reading now. I was explaining this to this wanderer friend that I met over oyster stew at Sea Hag in Depot Bay, how we're kind of triangulating three systems here, three namespaces: active inference, William Blake, and how does AI fit into Dr. Jang's? He's teaching at the high school level, but as I always say, let's do high school every 15 years, no matter how old we are. Kind of a back to basics. This is back to my thing where it's not just learn, 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 learn. Now you know enough. Now go forward knowing what you need to know. No, you re encounter a back to the basics kind of every so often. The longer you live, probably the more you have to do this to get back to the new basics, right? The new basics, they keep changing. So now what I want to talk about in terms of how things keep changing, let's talk about another intake point for School of Tomorrow. And this is the new video by Dante where he's, I would say, barking up the right tree. Like I wish more people would bark up the tree he's barking up, which has to do with let's get back to basics in the sense of logic and pick up the story, right? Where have we been going with, say, the Bertrand Russell project and Frege before him? That's where Wittgenstein jumps in, and Dante and I are both into Wittgenstein, so I have this like, let's get the Wittgenstein scholars in here talking language games, talking, philosophy of language, and look at some of the language games offered us in Synergetics and how self-contradictory are they or are they not taken in isolation. We can look at various gizmos and we can even look at the quadratic coordinate system if we want, which is post-publication of the 2 volumes, but goes in there nicely. And the concentric hierarchy, a different way of looking at volume, synergetics constant, these kind of things. I'd say they're appropriately at a kind of low-level logic point in the curriculum where you're going into the philosophy of mathematics, a la Wittgenstein, a la that letter in the deck by Darcy Thompson to Alfred North Whitehead saying, hey, how come we say 3D? Why don't we say 4D if I'm just a floating paramecium like in flatworms, like in M.C. Escher's flatworms, if that's me, and I'm thinking about, what is the dimensionality of space, you take gravity away and you take away some of this visual cues, I'm not sure that I'm going to agree that we're in this like 6 spokes, up, down, left, right, forward, back, count 6. Yeah, okay, but what about just 4 rays? Like, linear combinations of those will take me anywhere, so why did I need 6 again? He's asking that question in the early 1900s. So I think, and then Carl Menger is doing the same thing as Bucky in the sense of only volume occupies volume. And what is the simplest volume? How many facets? What room is the smallest room? Only rooms take up room. And what is the most minimal primitive room? Well, it's the 4-walled room, not the cube. That has 6 walls. The hexahedron has too many walls. We're just doing topology here. We don't care about shape. We're just saying how many edges. The inventory of edges, faces, and vertices, we get to a minimum with the tetrahedron. There's our volume, our room, our occupation, our concept of to occupy, to take up, to be a subset, whatever. Let's make that very primitive, and let's do tetrahedrons all the way down. And Dante's saying, isn't that self-contradictory? What do we even mean by that? Is that recursive? Is that what? Is that a fractal? So I think he's barking up the right tree. So I've got an intake at Synergio for people interested in jumping in on that conversation. Not saying we have to hold all those conversations in Synergio. I'm just saying let's thematically combine and create curriculum where we weave together a sort of investigatory Wittgensteinian approach to logic and at the same time challenge ourselves with some of the new language games that get thrown our way in Synergetics. That's a good topic area, I think, and that's where I'll be doing some more of my work. All right, we'll talk to you soon. Talk to you soon.